Right on cue, Gerald. It is week 4 here in season 26. Welcome to the Matt Willson SFL Kickoff Show. I'm Mike Daggs. He's Gerald Smith. We've got Cameron Irvine and Ron Haynes behind the scenes. Week 4 has come up fast, and we are rolling.
And you're already out of breath.
Yeah, I'm just so excited about week 4. I don't know.
Oh,
what
man.
else to tell you.
If they only got behind the scenes of the craziness that happens before the show. But yes, week 4 is here. So look, it's good. Some teams are starting to show what they can do.
Yeah.
Some teams are showing where their failures are.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's been a lot of ups, a lot of downs already here on in the season. Let's talk about last week, shall we? It was a week for the home team in
Right.
most of the cases. We've seen a lot over the past few seasons of a lot of weeks. It's pretty well mixed. We've had weeks where the away teams win most of the games, but for the most part, it's pretty even. Man, last week, 9 games, 8 of the winners, all the home team.
Yeah, and that's in week 1 when we made some picks. I went a lot heavy
You went
on the
road.
away teams,
Yeah.
and it was to my favor. Not so much this time. I mean, they'll end up seeing in my picks, but it is what it is. But so home teams dominated, and sometimes
yeah.
by large scores.
By a lot, yeah. And there's 2 shutouts. We haven't seen a whole lot of that recently, but there was 2 shutouts. There was 2 games that were near shutouts. Let's go through them. DC and Washington, we called that one, and Washington just led it the whole way, 16-0. Shut out the DC Dragons, who they had gone, I want to say, 7-0 last season before they finally lost their first game. Might have even been higher than that, but already having a loss, put up a goose egg against Washington. And how about Bossier City and Oklahoma City? Whew, that one was a lot closer than we thought it was going to be.
No, I thought it was going to be Oklahoma City going in there, but look, that's what you get when you get a motivated player going back to a former team.
Yep.
And Johnny Pickler, he played an excellent game. Bossier City had to do it with a backup quarterback too, might I add, to win that game, and they were able to pull it out.
They sure did. Yeah, Bossier City got the win 31-28. We both picked Bossier City, and whew, that was close. Here was the first game that we disagreed on in our picks, Albuquerque and Anchorage. You had picked Albuquerque. I went with Anchorage, and Anchorage got the win 20-0.
It was bad. Like, I think Albuquerque's broken. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah. Well,
Lost that home win streak, and it just fell apart.
Florida and Fort Worth, we both picked Fort Worth, and Florida eked out the win. They came through at the 11th hour there with seconds remaining on the clock. 24-23 got the win over the Toros. The Headhunters over Louisiana North, 28-14, and Detroit Maulers, living up to their name, absolutely mauled the Carolina Skyhawks, 35-6.
Yeah,
I mean, we didn't expect Carolina to win. Neither of us picked Carolina,
but
man.
not like that.
Yeah.
Like I really didn't expect that lopsided of a score.
Yeah, me neither. That one was pretty crazy. This one was even crazier. So we both had picked Arizona to win over Chicago, but 41-3. If you remember, Chicago in week 1 was this close to beating Vancouver.
Yep.
And then just got absolutely destroyed.
I mentioned it a little bit too. Like, they just are not utilizing a running back like it maybe should, right? They got a couple of good ones in there. They didn't have none last season. It worked, but they still stuck in that mode of want to pass. So they got to figure something out. And look, I mean, it shows right here. Like, they haven't quite figured it out yet.
Yeah, not quite yet. How about the lowest scoring game of the week? This one actually surprised me. We called this one our game of the week.
Yep.
And I don't know. If you like defensive battles, it lived up to it. Minnesota getting the win over Los Angeles 7-3. And Minnesota didn't score those 7 until the fourth quarter.
Look, and I liked it. Why? Because look, baseball season's right around the corner. It's a baseball score, and guess what? They were just beating each other up. And look, and there was only 1 touchdown scored. And lo and behold, it was Deezer Power. That was phenomenal. His only catch that game, by the way, was that touchdown. So I enjoyed it because LA seemed like they got something. They figured something out.
They definitely do. They looked great defensively. I mean, holding them to only that 1 touchdown. Granted, their offense didn't put up enough points for them. And then the Monday night snooze fest. I mean, the Monday night spectacular. I'm sorry. It is what it is. Birmingham absolutely steamrolled the Aztecs. We didn't even look competitive. Back to the drawing board on that one. Congrats to Birmingham for going to 2-0, 37-10.
Those free hats his hair they gave away was magnificent, and they rode it to a win.
They sure
but
did.
It was a pretty dominant performance. And I mean, look,
They look
they
good.
got something.
They
Yep.
look good. Speaking of looking good, Detroit Maulers, Minnesota Legend, Vancouver Legion, Birmingham Hellhounds, and Houston Headhunters. Those are your undefeated teams up through this point of the season. Plenty of teams with only one loss, handful of teams with two. Oklahoma City and Miami, along with Carolina and Albuquerque and Chicago, all still looking for their first win. So there's a bunch of winless teams yet that I'm sure we will see get into the wins. So let's jump into our offensive and defensive player spotlights from last week and talk about who made a big difference. For the offensive player spotlight, Gerald, there was a ton of running backs that had amazing stats. It was the week of the running back, but we're going to go in a little bit different direction. Let's see who we have for the offensive player spotlight. Should it be a running back? Maybe, but I'm going to go with give me Florida Storm's quarterback, Isaac Covert. Why? 31 of 41, 76% completion percentage, 377 yards. He averaged 12 yards per pass. He had 2 touchdowns. And Gerald, he single-handedly, in my opinion, led this team to this win over Fort Worth. You picked Fort Worth. I picked Fort Worth. And for all intents and purposes, Fort Worth probably should have won the game. But Isaac Covert said absolutely not. And I mentioned 377 yards. This pass was his longest of the day, 19 yards, which means he was just absolutely tearing them apart. Throwing darts, Ron Haynes says, 16 yards on that one. At that point in the game, 15 of 18, 163 yards. And that was just in the second quarter, a little under 2 minutes remaining. His first touchdown pass of the game would come right here, 14 yards out. And watch this one. Drops back, throws it only where his player can get it. It looked like it was a low kind of back shoulder, almost a back calf pass. Honestly, it was pretty low, but no risk of getting picked off when you throw it to that spot. Perfect play. And you know me with Jordan Sipe. One thing I love having him do, take off and run. Third down conversion, goes ahead and gets the first down. Isaac Covert running it. Dual threat quarterbacks, beautiful thing. So then here, another touchdown pass coming up. Well, I guess Ron wanted to show him run a second time. So
Well, he just wanted to show people, hey, look, as a quarterback, you got to get down.
got to get down, got to slide. So this touchdown, here they are down 8, right? So gets a 3-yard touchdown pass. This is a big play, able to just find his target, nice and easy over the middle. But they went for a 2-point conversion and failed. So failed on 3 2-point conversions in the game to try to get the game tied up. So here they are. They are down 2 points. It's the fourth quarter. It's 4th down and 4. And they're backed up all the way to their own 26-yard line. Covert drops back, looks, fires. Again, back shoulder where only his receiver could get that ball, converts it. And then Ron Haynes says he went on what he's calling the drive, right? So here we go. Rapid fire, 18 yards, throws a quick one, gets his team all the way down the field. Here comes another one, 16 yards, just fires it nice and safe. The receiver able to get all the way down inside the 10. Is that close enough? Nope. 6-yarder all the way down to the 2-yard line, which sets up a nice GP Wells score to get the go-ahead touchdown with only seconds remaining in the game. Isaac Covert leading his team all throughout the game, all the way down into that 2-minute drill, gets them into position. But let's at least talk about these honorable mentions, Gerald, because like I said, this was the week of the running back. So congrats to Isaac Covert. But how about John Osmosis? Right, 28 carries, 93 yards. He had a touchdown. DJ Moses, 17 carries, 118 yards. He averaged 7 yards per carry. My guy right here, Will Todd, 12 carries, 92 yards. A fullback, Gerald, a fullback, 8-yard average, and he had a touchdown. And how about Lenore West, the rookie, 27 carries, 124 yards. Did you notice how the last 3 players were all from the Scorpions?
Correct.
All of them noteworthy. This one pains me. Dominic Kane, just 1 million carries, 1 million yards. He averaged 1 million yards per touch, and so did his counterpart, Bailey O'Shaughnessy. The Aztecs didn't know that they were supposed to tackle these guys. They just said, I'm just going to let them run through like a sieve. I love you, Aztecs, but got to work on tackling. 20 carries, 95 yards for Rashawn Williams. And how about Dwayne Salmons, your guy right there, 27 carries, 134 yards. How could I pick a running back when they all did phenomenal?
Yeah, look,
All of them did amazing.
and like you said, it was I was looking at it too. I'm like, man, look at all these great games by the
Yeah.
running backs, right? And they all had a part in their teams doing as good as they did and
For
getting,
sure.
some of these wins and everything else. So in Arizona, 3 of them running it for a high amount
Yeah.
and at a large rate. And then against you guys, I was watching and I'm like, this is bad.
We can move on
Ran
from that
all
game.
over the
No,
place
just-
and everything else.
it's
So,
enough.
but look, and Washington, right? We called that game last week.
Yep.
Toward the end of the game, guess what? Dwayne Salmon started to take over.
Sure did.
And then that was it. So, congrats to everyone. Isaac Covert for doing it.
Yeah.
What he did, and all those running backs. I mean, it was too many to list. 8 of them, and
Yeah.
it didn't want it to go.
It
like,
couldn't go
missed,
unsaid. It
unnoticed,
couldn't
yeah.
go unsaid. All of those players had a great game, but Isaac Covert definitely player of the week for the offense, just leading his team, the Florida Storm, to a win over a powerhouse team like Fort Worth. Dan Tritz in the chat says, "Wait, we were supposed to tackle?" Yes, Dan.
Yeah, that's
What can you do?
That's 101 right there. Football
right.
101.
Let's take a look at the defensive player spotlight.
All right, so for me, like this player here, right? You're not going to see do any kind of crazy gaudy stats or anything else, but he's an impact player no matter what, right? And you're going to see him pop up here in just a minute. And guess who it is? Hunter Norwood from the Arizona
Hall of
Scorpions.
Famer.
On the day, 4 tackles, 3 TFLs, and 2 sacks. Right now, right off the bat, you're going to see something that he's going to do right here. Right, they're going to do a little bit of a twist, and it's going to show how much attention he draws from the offense. Pancakes a guy, takes him right out of there, allows his teammate and Robert Brady to come in and make that tackle right there. And this play too. This is how strong he is and how much he does. What he does right here, he comes through. Guess what? Fights off a little bit of a double team, swims the guy, and then gets a sack. Center and a guard able to fight through him and be able to make the sack impacts player do things such as that. And you're going to see it again right here. A little bit of a chip from the center, being able to swing move the guard and keep moving on, get the sack. And this is going to be the theme of it a lot, right? So, and again, him here, right here, and you're going to see what he's got going on. Look what he does. He stands his ground.
Oh, yeah.
Stands his ground, stands his guys up, and that's how strong he is, a physical guy, and recognize where the running back's going and being able to bring the quarterback down. And this is another one for great pursuit. Guess what he does? Breaks right through and then chases the guy down. He's nimble on his feet. He's a lot quicker
He's
than you
fast for a
thought.
big fella.
Right? Being able to come through and just
Wow.
chase after the guy and make the sack. Just chases him out of the pocket and tackles him down. You know what I mean? And we're going to see a replay. He just dominated right through there. And it was like that. It was a theme all game long for them. And this play right here, you're going to see him do something very similar. The very next play, coming around, he's like, oh, crap, not again. And guess what? He takes off, right? Type attack takes off, says, no, not again. Let's not do this again.
We got comic
And
book
yeah,
bubbles in
so,
this one.
And guess what? He just has been an impact player, being able to do the things he do. And this is how strong he is, too. You're going to see this one here as well. Take on a true double team. Fight his way through it. Look, 2 guys are on him. Stands his ground. With 2 guys, still able to fight through it and be able to make the tackle. It is something that goes unnoticed a lot of times,
Yeah.
right? It's not really a whole lot of stats, but being able to take on those double teams and help your teammates be successful is what it's all about. And that what makes a Hall of Fame player like him become a Hall of Fame type player. And as we highlight him right there,
Yeah.
guess what? In these 3 games this season, he only has 6 tackles, 5 TFLs, and 3 sacks. 2 of those were from last
I
week.
was to say they had to all be from last game.
Right, but this is the true thing about him, right? He is second all-time in sacks, and he is a 7-time All-Star in 17 seasons. He was a staple when he played for the Kings.
Mm-hmm.
Down in Jacksonville or the Tallahassee Pride, whichever one do it. He played for both, and he moved on to Arizona. And still being able to do it. He's second all-time. I don't think anybody's going to catch a big sexy after me.
No.
But if anybody
his
can.
numbers are next level.
Right. So it's going to be him, but he has a ton of sacks, 167 tackles on his Hall of Fame type career. So congratulations, Hunter Norwood, impact players.
Yeah, congratulations to him and to Isaac Covert. We got a $10 super chat from Justin Reside. I can't wait for the third ever SFL Casey Mears Classic in Mexico City. The Wolves versus the Aztecs is going to be It's going to be emotional for me Saturday night, but I know both teams will be playing hard in her memory. Absolutely, Justin. Very well said. And I'm looking forward to that game too. So, speaking of this upcoming week's schedule, Gerald, it is time to look at this week's upcoming schedule. What do we got? Look at that sexy graphic. Cam's so good.
Yeah, he's awesome.
It's beautiful, too. All right, at 8 p.m. tonight, in about 30 minutes' time, we are weird. Bossier City at Minnesota. We will be calling that game. We will be breaking it down in some detail later on. At 8:15 in that same block, we've got 0-2 Chicago at 2-0 Detroit with Cameron Duty and Anthony Ellison back at it once again. That is another game where the record is deceiving, Gerald. 0-2 Chicago. They're so close to winning some games, but Detroit, man, they're looking good this season.
Yeah, they are.
9:45 tonight. We've got Fort Worth at Lexington. Brett Solberg back on play-by-play. He's got Rochelle Colson joining him in the booth. And at 10 p.m., Los Angeles at the winless 0-3 Albuquerque Adams. Interesting matchup there. L.A., I mean, they're looking really good. Albuquerque's not, but they're at home. Does that home magic spark back to life? I don't know. We'll see what happens. Eddie Gage, Anthony Ellison on the call. Anthony doing a couple of games for us this weekend. And then tomorrow, Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day, by the way. A little early Valentine's. Birmingham at Miami. Another 2-0 versus 0-2. Colin and Rick Northrup. Can Miami finally get their first win? And will they do it at home? 2-0 Houston at 0-2 Carolina. The O has got to go. And listen, it's going to go on one side or the other. Either someone's going to lose a game. I don't know. Something's got to happen. Jacob Clear, DJ Kilgannon on the call. At 9 p.m. tomorrow, we've got Washington at Arizona. Tyler Falk, Mark Lopez joining forces 2-1 at 2-1. And also our pick for Game of the Week. We'll break that one down next. And then at 9:15, the Casey Mears Classic. We got 2-1 Anchorage at 1-2 Mexico City. I got to fix that. Brandon Walters, DJ Kilgannon on the call for that one. The Monday Night Spectacular, this one's sure to be much more spectacular than last week. Vancouver at Pittsburgh, Cameron Irvine and Charles Doherty on the call. It's an interesting slate of games this week. You've got several undefeated teams versus winless teams. Which, just looking at that one, is there one in particular that you think a winless team can get a win?
I think it's Albuquerque, I think so, right? Because I do think, look, not the LA's playing bad or doing anything. They're not. They're playing great. But it's like Albuquerque's do. Something's going to change. And they know, hey, look, we're starting out 0-3. They may have a situation where they're playing at home, had their home crowd behind them. I think if a team can do it out of those, they might be one of them.
Yeah, I agree. Out of all those, I'd love to see Miami get a win. Maybe I'm just angry at Hatsis and Goodman right now, so maybe it's just that speaking. But I'd love to see Miami get into the win column. Carolina, such a good group of people over there in Raleigh. And listen, Demond, I love you, but I wouldn't mind seeing a L added to their record.
Look, but that's the thing. You got Houston and Birmingham up in the top
of
that division right now.
Trust me, I'm aware. Mexico City 1-2, Pittsburgh 1-2. What is happening? This is I don't know, it's not good. All right, let's talk about the game of the week. We've got Washington and Arizona facing off tomorrow night. It's an early season divisional battle, but one that could very well have major implications further down the line. Why? Well, both of these teams are currently at 2-1 in the West Division, and 5 teams in that division currently have 2 wins. I think at the end of the season, the separation between the top team and the bottom team is going to be very minimal. I think the West Division might actually have a better chance this season of looking like the South has in the past, where all the teams are going to be pretty darn similar at the end. So I think that separation is going to be be pretty minimal. So gaining that separation now early on is critical. We talk about major scoring swings during games, right? Like if a team is marching down the field and they're just about to score a touchdown, they're inside the other team's 5, and then all of a sudden they throw a pick 6. So instead of them adding 7 to their score line, the other team adds 7. It's a 14-point swing, right? Well, similar concept here, in my opinion. They're both 2-1 right now, but at the end of this game, one of the teams is going to be 3-1, which that even looks that much better, right? And the other one's going to be down at 500. So they're also going to be down a tiebreaker at the end of the season as well. So there's a lot on the line playoff-wise already, even way early on here in week 4. So it's an important game. 2 solid teams so far. I'm sure you'll talk about stats, but they're both top 10 offenses and defenses. Numerous categories. They're top 5 for both. Got about 800 scorpion emojis in the chat.
Scary. I saw the scorpion during the defensive. I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a real life scorpion that was crawling around on the screen. It was scary.
I missed it, and I'm glad. Yeah, I was more mesmerized by the comic strip word bubble. I want to see like bam and oof, and we got to get more of that up in there.
Bam, pow.
Yeah. So listen, there's a lot of football being done old school style. By both of these teams. They got solid run games on both sides. And then they're both backed by solid quarterbacks who are doing a really good job of taking care of the football and not committing turnovers, which has always been something that's kind of plagued Ashley Jackson in previous seasons. So really, this one could be anyone's game. I'm really interested to see how this one plays out. What do you think Washington's got going?
Look, and they put on a great performance last week with a shutout over DC, right? We watched it, a good defensive performance. And their defense was lights out. And they were able to apply pressure to the opposing QB and generate quite a bit of turnovers because guess what? They didn't have that in the games prior, but they showed up and did that last week. So, look, and they had 6 turnovers total, all of them interceptions, right? And they only had 1 turnover the previous 2 games, but they got 6 in 1 game. Look, and they had the number 1 defense in the SFL, right? That's what they're rated. And is the only defense that allows less than 250 yards per game to their opponents. The number 2 scoring defense, they only allow 10 points per game. Look, and offensively, in my opinion, they scrubbled. They kind of struggled a little bit, but they kept grinding, and it showed last week, right, with Dwayne Sanders, because of the defensive battle for a little bit. He come on and ran for over 130 yards. He's the number 3 rusher in the league, and Tom Utah, he had kind of a rough day, last week.
He did.
25% completion percentage. It wasn't great. But you know what he did? Like you mentioned, kept the mistakes to a minimum. And if you do that, your team can still get the win. He threw 1 pick, but it didn't change a whole lot or anything like that, right? They need better output this week against a team like Arizona, who we've seen recently can put up a lot of points, right? Yep. So one good thing for Washington offensively, they are number 2 in third down offense. They can convert those third downs into first downs. And what they need to do, their key players, defense. Do what you did last week. Apply pressure, force those mistakes. And Utah, you have to be efficient because if this defense plays like it has in Arizona, this week as they did last couple of weeks, you might be in for a struggle. You can't solely rely on the run game if they're preparing for the run. So he has to be efficient and clean and maybe they can come out with a win.
Yeah, they very well might. It's going to be a really tough task in Arizona. A couple of super chats. CJ Parrish, thank you very much. $9.99 super chat says 3-0 coming soon, followed by Skip making an inappropriate comment. Skip, come on. And then Mickey Melillo with a $4.99 super chat. Skip. Good luck to Minnesota tonight. Mickey Melillo facing off against his old team. He's returning to Minnesota tonight in the game that we get to call.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to breaking that one down here in a little bit. But Arizona, just got absolutely crushed in week 1. But since that time, they flipped that script.
Dude, they've been destroying opponents. They've outscored their opponents 86-6.
I'm jealous.
The last 2 weeks and have not allowed a touchdown the last 2 weeks.
I miss scoring points.
So look, and been playing at such a high level, right? In the last 2 games, it's just insane, right? Credit to the offense who is averaging, their rushing offense is averaging over 250 rush yards per game the last 2 games. They have over freaking 550 something yards combined the last 2 weeks rushing. It's crazy. The entire backfield contributes. Lenore West, she's doing her thing. Will Todd, Brad Jones, and DJ Moses the second doing all the stuff. The number 3 rushing offense in the SFL, Ashley Jackson. Guess what? She's got back to her efficient ways. We saw quite a few seasons ago, number 2 in completion percentage, sitting at a 66.7. One interception on the season. That is the most important stat. And look, and they had a bad game against Vancouver back then, but still she only threw that one pick, right? And number 1 in QBR, 121.9, 3-digit QBR, not to mention the pass catcher she's thrown it to, who is Talon Steele. Very, very big ad that they had so far this season. Fox Highwind doing his thing, T doing her thing too. So look, and they have the number 3 offense in the SFL. They're looking really, really good right now after looking kind of terrible. But they did play defending champs in week 1. Flipped it. They didn't score a whole lot of points. And they're not giving up a whole lot of points now, but are scoring a ton.
But can they keep that sort of momentum up against a team like Washington? That's going to be the interesting thing to see. Another super chat. Really appreciate you guys. Jesse Fretz, $10 super chat. Super thankful for the SFL, my Chicago Warriors coaches and teammates in our community. There's no day like game day. Couldn't have said it better myself. We've always talked about how much the SFL has done for us personally.
Yeah, I actually mentioned it to Cameron Irvine on my ride into the studio today, right? Yeah. So how appreciative I am, and I know you're as well, him giving us a platform to say what we need to say, entertain you guys, whether I probably make people more mad than sometimes, but
it's entertaining for me.
So, but yeah, so it's good. Love the community.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, back to the game breakdown. You talked about their offense. How about the defense? The past 2 weeks in particular, absolutely on lockdown. You talked about they've only allowed 6 points.
6 points. Yeah, didn't allow any touchdowns over the last 2 games, right? And they ramped up the pressure, right? They applied, pressure to the opposing quarterback at like a really good rate, and they forced him into mistakes. Like Bernard Smith is playing at a high. He has 3 interceptions through 3 games this season, right? Eddie Gage and the way he's able to put things together and analyze it and learn from mistakes, he knows how to do it. Like, I don't know. I don't understand. He can look terrible, turn around and look extremely good and be consistent with it. The only other person I've seen it is like from you, right? You turn around, you have a bad game, so I'm really expecting you guys to have a really good game this week.
2 bad games in a row. One wasn't bad.
Right.
This one was bad.
For that very same reason, right? You guys just analyze everything else. Look, they are top 9 in every defensive category and sit behind Washington with the number 2 defense and everything else because, Washington's got the number 1. And they're key players, man, for this, for this game. The run game. Keep it up with all those 4 runners. You can do that. You can take a lot of pressure off, Ashley, which is why she has been able to be as efficient. For her, stay efficient, mistake-free, defensively. They're playing with a lot of intensity right now. Keep up that intensity because you need it in games like this that could be a divisional decider later down the road.
It really could. Like I said, in my intro to this game, I think this one's one that near the end of the season, they're going to look back to week 4 and say, man, this one was the reason for XYZ, whatever, whether it's seeding, whether it's winning the division or not. I think there's a lot on the line. Tyler Falk, Mark Lopez get this call on Saturday at 9 p.m. So be sure to tune in to that one. And how about the game that's coming up in just about 17 minutes time, Gerald? We've got Bossier City and Minnesota. Bossier City, they are a good team with terrible luck, absolutely terrible luck. Really cool helmets last week.
Oh, dude, it was.
They were nice.
It was sexy. I'm not gonna lie. It was sexy. It was good.
Listen, last season they lost 8 games. Right, 6 of those games were by 1 score. They could, one thing goes different in each of those. They could have had not just a winning record, but a really good record. But they lost those 8 games. This season, they're off to a 1-2 start. And once again, those losses were 1-score losses. They're competitive in just about every single game that they play. They just have to find a way to consistently close those games out and get into the win column. They have a top 10 offense in multiple categories, numerous players playing at an all-star level. They've got Jack Wigmore in at quarterback. I won't steal all your thunder. I know you'll get into some of the particulars about it, but it all just needs to come together and find a way to win. We looked at the game last week and said, wow, Bossier City should absolutely steamroll Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
And they even let Oklahoma City hang in there. and they almost lost that game by one score.
They did.
But they won. They finally got into the win column. So congratulations to them for that. For Minnesota, what a start to the season. They are 3-0, and they did so by beating their first two opponents on the road before hosting Los Angeles last week, which, preseason people might have looked at that and said, well, yeah, they should win their home opener against Los Angeles. We weren't so sure.
No.
I
picked LA. I picked LA.
You did. I picked Minnesota, but but that was kind of like a coin flip type pick. Last week they faced their toughest contest so far against a good LA squad that has been successful finally at changing that narrative that they wanted to change. And if you like high-scoring games, this was not the game for you because it was the lowest-scoring game of the week. But in the end, they were able to pull off the win. So, listen, I think this game has the potential to be a lot closer than it might look on paper. It's another one of those ones where I think the record is deceiving, just like Chicago and Detroit. Might be 0-2 at 2-0. It doesn't matter. Just take those records, throw them away. That game's going to be competitive. I think this one's going to be competitive as well. I think Bossier City definitely has what it takes to beat a team that only put up 7 points last week. Let's be real. But on the flip side, Minnesota has what it takes to hold a good team to limited points. And Bossier City always seems to find a way to lose by one score. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen. So far, my phone's not blowing up with, Garrison Blue, Michaela Forker texting me saying you're being mean. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying. LA held them to 3, for example. So, see what happens, right? So anyway, what do you think? Bossier City, what do they got?
Look, it's a very, very rough start to the season, right? Loss, it's tough to say the least. Like you mentioned, 2 games, 1 score, squeaked out that win last week.
Yeah,
with a backup quarterback.
With a backup quarterback
in there as well. So, but they were able to, and maybe that's what they needed to spark. Hey, look, we can win with the backup quarterback. Yes. We have the talent to do it. Because after you lose 2 games in a row, you start to question, do we have what it takes?
Sure.
Right. So, but look. It seemed and they haven't played bad, just a bit of bad luck, right?
Yeah.
They boast the number 3 pass offense with Jack Wigmore, who is number 2 in pass yards, number 1 in TD. He's actually tied for first in touchdowns in the SFL. But this is the tough thing for me. He is last in interceptions.
Yeah.
Right. He's been mistake ridden and everything. They have employed an air it out type offense where it. To me, when I look at it, they seemingly have become a little bit one-dimensional, right, with their run game being the 4th worst in the SFL. They have to get that going. But, look, They do have the bright spots on the offense with, wide receiver Vin Calia and Garrison Blue at the tight end position playing extremely well, doing what they need to do. Look, and when you have a former MVP, won some championships in Jack Wigmore, he's going to make plays for you, right? Look,
he sure is.
But on offense, they do need to establish a run. If they want to keep putting more W's on the board for themselves and even compete. So I do think they have to get that done. They're still very, very talented and proved last week they are talented, especially on the offensive side, to be able to go down when they needed to get points. They were able to get them last week.
Yeah, definitely. Defensively, they have a lot of players that currently have a lot of points in the all-star scoring, but they're allowing a lot of points. Like what happened last week against Oklahoma City is almost inexcusable to allow them to hang in there when when you look at the rosters. Bossier City's a much more talented roster.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like, and they are, because they do have the talent, right? They just, I don't know, they just kind of can't get out of their own way. It's like it's almost unacceptable. And I do think they were questioning their ability too.
Yeah.
The way the season started, man, we can't win. It's the same thing as last season. What do we do? What do we do? And you get yourself reaching for stuff, right? But just to break it down a little bit, look, they're in the bottom third in every defensive category, right? Yep. They're ranked 18th in total defense. They surrendered an average of 27 points a game, which is 16th in the SFL. But there are bright spots here, right? They can tackle, and they are top 6 in TFLs and in number 2 in passes defended.
Right.
Now I'm going to explain why that's important. If they turn even half of those into interceptions, right, you could be calling them a 3-0 team right now because of how they lost.
Yep.
Lots of missed opportunities on the defensive side. If you're batting down that many balls,
you got to
get your hands on them, secure some of them,
because even a quarter of them.
Right, and that can even change it. Look, and you could be 3-0 right now. Lots of misses opportunity. I think Michaela Forker is like, I don't know, either 1 or 2 in the league. She's bobbled a lot of them right now. I don't mean to pick on her, but she's bobbled a lot. She had a lot of opportunities, but she's knocking them down, getting in the way, which is good. But you got to secure some of those, especially when you're struggling to win. And the key players, the run game, Noel, Nimchek, and Gonzalez. Guess what? They need to step up to take some of the load off of the offense, and maybe you would stop, you would limit some of those turnovers
Yep.
that Wigmore does, right, and help become more of a balanced offense. Look, and Wigmore, you got to reduce the mistakes. That's it. Reduce or even eliminate them altogether if you can. It's going to get you where you want to be offensively. Defense, don't miss the opportunities to get the turnovers.
Yep.
You take those. Like I said, you could be 3-0 right. This could be a 3-0 versus 3-0 matchup right now had they cashed in on some of them opportunities. So that's what I think they need to do to turn it around.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to throw one more key player out there. How about Mickey Malillo returning to Minnesota, where he played for several seasons? Sometimes they might just get down in field goal range. Hey, if he goes 10 for 10, that's 30 points. Mickey, get it done. We'll see what could happen.
He can do an Otis Boudreaux style. Kick him
to the championship. Yeah, all the way. Speaking of Minnesota, 3-0. Look out, here they come.
Look, here come the legend,
Yep.
right? And guess what? They have turned things around after I'm gonna call it a terrible season 25.
Sure.
3-0 for only the second time in their history.
Yep.
Right? Look, and the story of this team, in my opinion, is their defense. They are, in my opinion, the best defensive unit in the SFL right now. They're number 1 in points allowed, number 1 in takeaways, and have the number 3 total defense over across the entire SFL. And it's all due to the play from front four with Jerry Degon, Angela Meerkat, Biff Markham. Biff Markham is number 3 in sacks this season. And Mark Mello, he don't have no sacks, but he's an impact player. Right? Doing everything. Look, along with the secondary that is led by cornerback Johnny Bravo, right? Had somebody ain't gonna say his name, put me on blast on the show with Bravo. He has a league-leading 4 interceptions and 2 pick sixes.
Yeah.
Right? So he's doing his thing on the defensive side, and this unit, I've mentioned it before, has smothered out the competition, and it was evident last week when they won a 7-3 contest against LA. They just smothered them out, didn't let them go anywhere. And offensively, right, they just got ball control, and they keep the mistakes to a minimum.
Yeah.
Right? Look, and the stud on the offense has been Deezer Powell, who was almost shut down last week. But guess what? Those 7 points was because of him. His only catch was the touchdown last week.
All you need is one.
And guess what? He secured his SFL leading 5th touchdown of the young season that we have. And let's not forget, everybody forgets about this guy. He should be a Hall of Fame man at some point in time.
Oh, yeah.
Colin Hart. He is 7th in rushing. He's a grinder. He does it right, along with Reno being back there. Again, he is being how he has been in the past. Not last season, but top 10 in all quarterback categories. So key players, in my opinion, Deezer Powell. If he can have output like he did his first 2 games, forget about last week.
Yeah, he's got to step that back up.
Yeah, he's got to get it back. And Colin Hart, right? Keep doing your thing. And then if you think if Deezer takes a step back, maybe Colin Hart can get in there and do his thing. And the front four, generate pressure to force the turnovers that you are ultimately going to get whenever you apply pressure.
Absolutely. Looking forward to this one. We are inside 8 minutes now until we get that game started. So let's talk about our picks. We've got me back in the lead. That's really the highlight.
I was 4-4.
Yeah, you didn't do
and
so great.
Cam reminded me of it when I was talking to him earlier. He's like,
sure
"You were terrible." He's like, "Mike was terrible." I'm like, "Mike wasn't so terrible."
I was 6-2. That's not terrible.
I know. I was like,
pretty solid.
No, Cam, it was me. I was one that was bad.
Yeah, Sam went 6-2.
Look, I'm
4-4.
doing the math, guys. I can only lose 22 more games.
That's it.
And still win 100. So
that's
I'm not losing 22 more games.
All right, we'll see. I mean, you lost 4 just in 1 week, but we'll see where it goes.
It's in the past, man.
I'm 11-5 right now. You're 10-6.
Bringing up old stuff.
I think we're gonna agree on a lot of games this week, though. It's
I
gonna
think
be a week where we don't change a
yeah.
whole lot. So Bossier City, Minnesota, we're calling that game, so we won't pick it. Chicago at Detroit. You got 0-2 at 2-0. What do you got?
And Detroit's starting off really good.
They are
right, and they're looking really good. But you know what? Like it just, I don't know. Even though they're all going on the road, I think Chicago, man, the mad scientist is going. He's got to figure something out because just when I doubt them, they decide to stick it to me. And guess what? I'm gonna be waiting and protected because no, I'm in the same as you. You stick somebody else because I am going with Chicago. I think they're finally going to put it together. I think Detroit is good, but I think they're running into a team that is going to be well prepared.
Yeah.
And what happens for a team like Detroit when you play teams that you're preparing for a team that you've only scouted when they lose, and they're going to make some changes, and it could be a lot, and you never know what you're going to get, and you could fall right into the hands of what Chicago wants you to do, and I think Chicago might take advantage of that, and I do think it'll come out with a win.
There's definitely a chance, but I'm looking at Detroit, and I'm seeing how well they're playing this season, And man, I think that's going to be a team that you're looking at in the playoffs, and maybe even making a deep run in the playoffs. Who knows how far they can go? Give me Detroit in that one. So far we disagree. Fort Worth, Lexington.
See, and this is one where I was going back and forth on this one too, right? Because I believed in Fort Worth so much last week.
Yeah.
Because don't ask me why. I just have a hate for Florida. I shouldn't. I just do. I don't know what it is, right? I don't know. But anyway, and they let me down.
They did.
But guess what? Fort Worth, I still believe in you. And I'm picking you this week. Lexington looked pretty decent, right? They still got still got the boogeyman on the defensive side doing his thing. But I think Fort Worth is, better coached, better well put together. They respond to adversity really, really well when they lose a game, especially how they lost last week against Florida. So I do think they come back, and they didn't play bad last week, right? They just let Florida hang in a little bit too much, and I do think Fort Worth's going to go into Lexington and win.
Yeah, I agree. Lexington, I think for me is like Florida to you. I just have a hard time picking them. It's call it the eye test. I don't know. Just I have a very hard time picking Lexington until they can change my mind. Give me Fort Worth in that one. Los Angeles, Albuquerque.
This is a huge trap game. I feel like this is the biggest trap game on the schedule.
It is.
Albuquerque known for winning at home, right up until last season, and then now they seemingly collapsed. And guess what? Them too. I just think, what do you do when you get backed up in the corner or wall? You have no choice but to come out swinging.
Yeah.
But I do think they'll be swinging at air. Because I do think L.A. is going to go in there. I think L.A. looks well put together right now. So I know it's only early in the season, but L.A. looks good.
They do.
In all three of their games. They played a really tough Minnesota team and held Minnesota to 7 points. No one else can say that so far this season. So guess what? I think L.A.'s got what it takes. They're going to go into Albuquerque. And Albuquerque, I think, is going to fall to 0-4.
Yeah, I agree. Albuquerque, to me, looks broken. I don't know why. I'm sure they're going to get it turned around at some point, but L.A., they've changed my mind, and I'm happy to be able to pick L.A. in this one. Birmingham at Miami.
Man, it's going to be fluorescent neon colors all over the place.
It's going to be very bright. It'll be very bright.
Guess what? Miami just does not look like a team I thought they would have been, right? And Birmingham, the way they played last week, man, that can travel, right? That type of game that they played can travel, and then they're going into Miami, and they're going to win. Birmingham.
Yeah, give me Birmingham as well. Respect to Michael Goodman. Respect to Jimmy Hatsis. They kicked my ass. They're going to keep on doing it. So give me Birmingham. Houston at Carolina.
Damon, I'm sorry. I should not have picked against you last week. You know I love you. It's Houston all the way.
He feels betrayed.
So I should know better than to even go against my kid too, right? So, but guess what? Houston look good, and they won really good fashion. In Carolina, they're just kind of reeling, right? I know Skippy ain't gonna like me to hear it. We might have to put boxing gloves and go to boxing next time we see each other. They just ain't got it. It just looks off and just weirdly bad or badly weird, whatever you want to call it. Houston's gonna go to Carolina and win.
Yeah, I call it both. Badly weird and weirdly bad. Listen, sorry, Skip. Sorry, Carolina. Give me Houston in that one. Houston just looks like the much more powerful team. Get some wins. I'd love to be able to pick you again. But Houston just looking a little too strong, and Carolina not quite there together yet. Washington and Arizona, our game of the week.
Another tough one, man. This is kind of crazy. I think this is one of the tougher games for both teams. This is a playoff preview. Like you said, divisional matchup early on. This could decide a lot going down the road. So, but I got it. Eddie Gage is, God, man, when you put up 86 points and only surrender 6, no matter the opponent, like the last 2 weeks, you got something flowing really well for. And they're at home right now. So, not saying that Washington can't win on the road, but man, give me Arizona.
Yeah.
They got it going. They're running like they crazy, and actually being efficient too. So they got it all going on for them right now. I have no choice but to pick Arizona.
3 running backs with darn near 100 yards or more last week. It's going to be a much tougher game, much tougher game, like we broke down. But give me Eddie Gage, give me the Arizona Scorpions at home over Washington. It's going to be a lot closer. They're not going to blow out Washington, but I do think they're going to do enough to get the win. Anchorage at Mexico City. Obviously, I always go Aztecs because I have to, because I think we're going to win them all.
You don't have to.
I do, because I think we're going to win them all.
It's just against it to say, hey, look, if you're going to lose. But anyway, look. Anchorage looking really good. I didn't have a whole lot of confidence in them, right? Because I didn't know what I was going to get, right? It's Queen City kind of moving over.
Yep.
So, but man, they're looking really, really good, and they're kind of eye-opening to me. I almost went in a different direction with this, but I'm like, I've seen Mexico City a lot of times when they get beat bad and they get kind of embarrassed like you guys did.
Oh, yeah.
You guys respond in this weirdly psychotic manner, and I feel sorry for the next team you play. Not that you're going to do that to this team, but I do think you guys are going to win. But Anchorage is going to put up a big, huge fight, and it's going to be a struggle for you guys, but you're going to pull it out.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. Obviously, I'm going Aztecs. It's going to be an interesting game. Vancouver at Pittsburgh, Monday Night Spectacular. You going with Louisiana North?
Man,
You
I
going with your
want
River Hogs?
I want to so bad, but Vancouver is just too good.
Defending champs for
You know
a
what I mean?
reason.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And they've been so good for the better part of the last 2 seasons. You guys gotten away the season before last, and this season they just look good, right? They stumbled at the gate, struggling with Chicago. It was a really good game, but they haven't stumbled in their last game at all. Pittsburgh, they are playing at home. They are better at home.
Oh, yeah.
Really, really better at home, but I think Vancouver has what it takes because their type of ball can travel.
I think Vancouver has the opportunity this season to potentially do what Florida did in seasons past and be undefeated and win the championship again. I think they've got that sort of potential, and I think that they are going to win.